Hi everyone, here is part 2 of our lesson 5. So now we're going to talk about sampling bias, bias sampling. So it says a flawed sampling that leads to unrepresentative or inaccurate results. So as we talked about the sample methods, right, we said SRS is going to be the best one to use because it will be less biased. So it's going to give you the best results. Systematic will also give you good results. So you may want to use that if you can. Convenience and self-selected, they're going to be they're going to be very biased, and so they're not going to give you the best results. They're not going to really represent your population there, okay? So let's talk about the two difference, okay? So we have what is called a non-response. So people were selected, but they choose not to participate. So this is basically your self-selected. So anybody that was self-selected. And then under coverage, members unlikely or cannot be chosen. So this could be, this can go from convenience, okay, especially if you're just choosing somebody or people that are in front of you. There could be a group or members that are not likely or cannot be chosen there, okay. So you have non-response and under coverage. So let's go ahead, let's do some examples where we're going to figure out how are some of our samplings biased. Okay, so it says the mayor of Lee Summit is interested in finding out the average age of people in the city. He obtains a list of all of the landline telephones in the city and then contacts a simple random sample of 300 people. Now, he uses the data from the sample to estimate the average age of all the people in the city. This asks 5A, what is wrong with this survey? Okay, so here, go ahead and pause the video. Once again, I want you guys to try these on your own and then play the video again to see if you got it correct or where were you at. So go ahead and pause the video and try 5A on your own. Okay, let's talk about what could be wrong here, okay? So notice that even though he used a simple random sample, which is good to use, notice he only contacted people that had landline telephones. Do everybody have landline telephones? No. So that could be something that is wrong here. So not everyone has landline telephones. So he's missing out on a group of people, especially those that don't have landline. So people without landlines don't have a chance to be part of the survey. So because there is a part of people, especially maybe the younger group, chance to be part of the survey, since there's people that cannot be part of the survey, this is what we would call under coverage here. Because not everybody is able to be part of the survey. Okay, now once again, so here it says, do you think the mayor will over or underestimate the true mean age of people in Springfield, I should say Lee Summit? So do you think he's gonna over or underestimate, and why? So go ahead and pause the video and answer this question here. Okay, let's see what you got. So let's think about this, right? To under or overestimate the mean age. Well, if we think about it, right, if he's probably just having people with landlines, that's probably going to be the older group here. So it looks like the mayor could overestimate the true mean age of the people in Lee Summit. Just because probably younger people don't have landlines. Okay, let's try another example here. Let's look for number 6. So it says the administration at Lee Summit High School wants to know the proportion of students that did all of their homework last night. They select a simple random sample of 100 students and send an email to each of them asking if they did all of their homework last night. Now, of the 40 responses, 90 said they did all of their homework. Now, what is wrong with this survey? Once again, go ahead and pause the video and answer this question. Okay, now once again, yes, they did use simple random samples, so that's good. So the sampling method they used was good, but how they sampled was not. Notice that they basically used, or they allowed people to choose if they could answer, okay? So basically, some of the things that we have is that some did not answer. So because some did not answer, that means this would be a non-response. Now, some other things that we really haven't talked about. Notice here that only 40 out of the 100 actually answered. So not all of them did, and even less than 50% answered this. So that means kind of our sampling size could be small. So that could be considered a small sample size. Also, let's think about, right? It is a possibility that for those that did answer, that these could be the ones that do their homework, or it is also possible that maybe some students lied. Okay. Now, B, do you think they will over or underestimate the true proportion of students who did their homework and why? Once again, pause the video and answer this question. Okay, let's see what you got. Now, I would say this is an overestimate because, yeah, 90%, I don't think 90% of students actually did their homework. It's going to be an overestimate. Okay. So just because, once again, we talked about not everyone responded. Okay. And then also, yeah, they may have not responded because they didn't do homework or they don't do homework. Or another thing is they may have lied. So that's another thing. Okay. Now, this idea about lying in your response, this is going to get into our next thing, and this will be leading into part 3 of our video. This is where we're going to talk about what about biased questions. Okay, make sure you watch part 3 of our lesson 5 notes.